Hey YouTube, Logan with Hideaway Homestead here, coming to you today with a video here after I made my little duck update and I took apart the pen, got the ducks out. They're enjoying all those sprouts that are all about here. And our little hen came back in and she started pecking at a lot of the sprouts and doing a little bit of scratching. And I've got this pile here normally with your deep bedding. I don't want to turn it any, like I'm not trying to compost, but considering how wet this was, I tried to pile it up so that way maybe it'll dry out a little bit. I'm gonna bring in some char and some more sawdust and stuff like that to put in his bed, and probably some more leaves, and get everything set up with our feeder, water, and a little pool for the ducks, especially once we get the bigger ducks in here. But I figured I'd make this video more about why keep chickens and ducks together if I'm gonna have them in a house. And one reason is, I mean, anytime you think about any kind of poultry, if you can put more than one species of poultry, if you're gonna keep more than one species of poultry all together in the same house, you might as well do it, because they require a lot of the same infrastructure. They need, a dry place to get, they need places to lay eggs, and they need food and water. And then if you've got ducks or any kind of waterfowl, they need somewhere where they can get their head into water. So, they have a lot of the same needs for that reason. But then also ducks, you see their feet, they've got these big old webbed feet that just compact everything. And chickens, they've got their little claws, and they do a whole lot of scratching. So the bedding won't get like this as long as the chicken has access to it. And there's all kinds of stuff I can do. I can stroke grain in this, put worms, any kind of insects that come in here. The chickens will want to tear it apart. So anyway, that's what we're looking at with keeping chickens and ducks together. And once we get our system set up on the property and figure out how we're gonna keep everything, I'm gonna keep Muscovy ducks and probably some Rhode Island red hens. And I'm looking at probably keeping somewhere around anywhere from 10 to 20 hens as far as the Muscovies go at a time, and then probably somewhere around 160 of the Rhode Island Reds. But that's our plan for once we get our system settled in. We're gonna do a large structure and have some paddocks that the animals can go out and feed and forage and everything. And that's something else, like with chickens, when you keep them and it's just egg layers, you can get by with no feed. I've done it many times, and as long as they have access to enough forage, you can get by with no feed. Broilers is a completely different story, especially if you want to raise like the Joel Salatin style little pens, and you get the Cornish cross. They are a high octane bird. They really need feed. Like, for you to grow the feed and provide, like, worms and stuff like that for protein, it would be extremely labor intensive. Now, for your hens, they can go out and find that stuff for themselves. As long as you give a place where insects can reproduce, the chickens are going to find them. If you do your broilers like that, they're lazy, they're not going to go around much. That's the same thing with Muscovies, and we're probably going to end up doing a good bit of feed for our animals, because having that many, we're not going to have the forage. And they're not like the rabbits. It's not going to be as easy to set up fodder systems for them. Rabbits are herbivores. You can just grow and grow more plants, and more high quality plants and more higher protein plants. But with chickens and the ducks, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, with the ducks, they do forage a bunch and eat a lot of green. So there's a chance that they may not eat hardly any feed at all. And the hens, I think it'll be really low feed to begin with. We won't be feeding a whole lot. But then as our systems grow, we might, completely wean off of feed and be able to just supplement with some growing of our own grains, and, growing trees that'll give off high energy foods like mulberries and you know, maybe some kind of nuts that we might harvest. I don't know yet, but we're looking at really ramping up our system, especially once we get over in our home on our permanent homestead. And for the time being, we're probably just gonna continue with this setup and figure out what we're gonna do for keeping you know, laying chickens too. We want to do laying chickens and Muscovy ducks, and the layers will more than likely raise our own layers after we buy the first batch. We'll allow the Muscovies to hatch them out, and then all the extra roosters will just process them. Probably have to look into getting a feather picker. I really don't want to. I just don't like processing chickens. Rabbits are so much easier. But anyway, that got a little rambly there. Hopefully it was helpful to somebody. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you've got any questions or comments, drop those down below. I appreciate all y'all watching, and we'll see you in the next one.